Hello, everyone. Today I've got one of the most successful Brazilian poker players. At least he's been ranked #1 for the last few years. In addition to that, he's also a celebrity coach and seminar speaker, as well as a poker streamer, among other things as well. Very talented guy, as well as an inspiration story. Felipe Mojave Ramos.
I do not deserve that intro. Like I'm a simple guy, and but happy to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation,
Yeah, no
and
problem.
thank you very much.
I read that I read that you came from like the very slums, the very bottom, like the slums of Sao Paulo. Is that true? I mean that's kind of a tough situation to get out of.
It's true. Yeah. Actually, there's a funny story behind this because one day, Poker News tried to do an interview with me, and they asked about my background. They said I was from a bad neighborhood, right? In
Hmm.
Brazil. So they asked me for pictures and stuff. I sent it, and they were like, "Whoa, you're from the actual slums. It's not a bad neighborhood. It's like just worse than bad." And I was born in a region in Sao Paulo called ABC, which is a mix of the surrounding big cities in Sao Paulo.
Hmm.
And my I was born whenever my parents were not married. They were like 20,
Yeah.
and used to live in the basement of my grandpa's house.
Oh, really? Well.
So my
Okay.
grandpa's house was like a um, 2 rooms. So we didn't have a bathroom.
Hmm.
We didn't have a kitchen. So we had like basically
Okay.
like 2 rooms. And but despite of these humble beginnings, was like an amazing beginning actually for me because such nice people my family is, and I learned a lot from them, and that's the reason I'm here.
Nice. Nice. I mean, it must be interesting to come from that kind of place and then have the success that you've had.
Absolutely. I think about that all the time, to be honest. When I think about like playing a big event or something, like I could never imagine I'll be in this position. And sometimes I think like, why would I spend this money doing this if I could be doing so much more for for my family, for we try to do a lot of charity work back there as well. And it's always a little bit conflicting, trying to balance life. I know you talk a lot about that,
Hmm.
and you like the subject. Yeah, it's a challenge.
To balance life and poker, you mean? And work?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
So how do you? Well, I've got a couple questions. Like, what kind of charity
Sure.
stuff do you do, and like, what kind of? I mean, you have all kinds of work. It looks like you must be very busy, and you're a father as
Yeah,
well. But, like having a kid, like it's like half a job at minimum, maybe like a full-time job right there.
for sure. Especially for my wife. We both raise a kid. We don't have anybody that helps us. It's pretty much us three, and she's a hero. Being a mom is very very tough. It's a full time job for sure. I try to help a lot and be present as most as I can. By like finishing my sessions, staying with my baby, helping a lot in the mornings, and a lot of activities too.
Hmm.
But the thing behind the charity work started because when I got popular in poker, I just wanted to give it back. So I started doing some live streams, mostly over Twitch, and I decided that my live streams would be charity work. So everything we make from the live stream since day one, we donate 100% of it, and we actually donate on top of it by helping people getting started in the game, or also by helping people in our community with their needs. So I don't like I don't like to say that one thing is a priority for some people and another thing is not a priority for others, especially in a country with a lot of poverty like Brazil. But we have helped people to have a nice time with their families, or help them with their houses, or help with their education, or help them getting started in poker, which something I like a lot to do.
Hmm.
And this is only getting better. This is only getting better.
Really? Okay. I have some thoughts on the charity stuff, but I mean, it's nice of you. It's empathetic that you're. It sounds like you're not exactly deciding what people need for them. Um,
Exactly.
I
And this
mean,
is actually a big thing for me because let's say I have a dream. Let's say I have a dream. And
yeah,
my dream is to own, let's say, to own a big house, or to provide for my family, or to have a specific. I don't own a car, but let's say I like Ferraris, and my dream as a kid was to have a Ferrari, for instance. I don't like to put price on people's dreams or control people's dreams. I think that people like that are going for basic needs. This is really, really, really important.
for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, and we try to prioritize people that need more. But like I also have my dreams, and I try to fulfill my dreams, and I don't think that's lesser than whatever other people are wanting, in their lives.
Mm. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like, yeah, everyone's dream is subjective. You've got to, everyone's got their own what they want. We'll have
Yep,
to could revisit that subject. I have many thoughts on that myself, but definitely you
I would
can't
love to hear.
exactly. It's a tricky subject because you have to find ways to help people, but you can't be too controlling somehow. I'm very curious.
Exactly. There was one situation that happened to us uh, by now, pretty much, which was one guy. He said like his family's house was flooded, right?
Mhm.
And whenever it's summer in Brazil, some of the places, Brazil is amazing, but like it's very big, so it has a lot of nice places, has a lot of bad places too. So this guy followed a couple of videos saying that his family house was flooded, and of course we were like heartbroken. We tried to help, and then we discovered right away after making the donation that there was a scam. So I don't feel bad about that. I don't feel bad at all about that because you only give what you have, and if you have good intentions, is all that matters.
Can only, I mean, as long as you're giving something, then
Yeah,
it's better than par. As
no,
far as like,
absolutely.
yeah,
But what I meant by that, it's mean you only give what you have. If you're a kind person, you're gonna give kindness. You know, and
sure.
like and if you keep like measuring what people deserve and what people don't deserve, I don't want to go in that way because too many nice people out there, too many people in need, and then one person that does something wrong, it will put you in a bad mentality towards the whole scenario. That's what I mean. Yeah, but my wife thinks I'm a stupid person. She really thinks I'm a stupid person that I should be more. We should be more careful.
Yeah, it's tricky to balance people doing bad things, especially when you're helping them as well. It's a tricky thing. I mean, I have any thoughts on that subject. I think we'll have to revisit that one though. I'm very
Okay.
curious about your poker training stuff because I could see this as like a very realistic way out of poverty for a lot of people in these countries, presuming they can actually win. Because if you can be
Mm-hmm.
an online professional poker player, you can be free.
Uh,
It's probably easier than like going to law school or becoming a dentist, and the pay is probably better too. Like you're making money from the world. You're not making money from, well, I don't know the legislation, but like
mm-hmm.
you're making money on
Yeah.
like a world scale. Like it actually could be a realistic route for a number of people. So I could see how poker could be quite a good thing in countries with quite a lot of poverty. And I'm curious of your experience with that.
I think you 100% correct. I think that each day more, poker is giving opportunity for everyone. You know,
Hmm.
I remember that when I got started, I started playing poker in 2002, but I was only playing poker for fun. I didn't have any knowledge about the game.
Hmm.
And then whenever it was like 2005, I got interested in trying to read something about poker. And I tried to find something, and I couldn't find anything in Portuguese language. I'm Brazilian, and I didn't find any single piece of article, advice, nothing in
Hmm.
Portuguese. And I ran over Daniel Negrano's blog on internet, Full Contact Poker. That's the blog I found,
Hmm.
and quickly found some books. The main book was David Slansky book, which is probably like one of the, if not the Bible of poker, with Slansky and all his content. And I started from there. I think one of the biggest difficulties for us at that time was that, because if you want to learn something new, and specifically poker, you needed to know English language.
It's a bit of a hurdle.
And yeah, and we do have English language in school, which is pretty awful. I've studied in like public schools pretty much my whole life, despite of 1 year,
Hmm.
and didn't learn anything about English in school. And it was when I was like 9 years old, my dad came to me and he said, I'll have some spare money. I still cannot put you on private school, but I'll have some spare money. What do you want to learn? And you choose something, and I choose something for you.
Hmm.
And then I said, Dad, I want to learn music. And he said, okay. And then you're also going to English school. I said, okay, that's fine. So that credit belongs to my dad.
Hmm.
That didn't have much. He didn't have a house. He didn't have like he didn't own a place, and always financing stuff. He had a car, but it was financed, of course, and he invested on his kid. And then I started from there. I feel that like nowadays, in the area of internet and where things are more cheap and people have more access, poker is probably one of the best jobs, let's say that way, you can find. As you said, you have a freedom. You can study by yourself. You can find communities, study groups. You can study for cheap. You can start for cheap. There's so many opportunities that the poker sites offer, the free rolls and etc. And living this life on your own. Sometimes, like when you're poor, you depend on the system pretty much, right? You need to go to school. You need to do what society accepts, which is like get a college degree, and that's not a guarantee you're gonna be successful. That's not even a guarantee you're gonna get a job, especially in Brazil. So by going your own path and studying poker and learning more from the game, I think it's a great path, and that's something I like very much, to try to give people opportunity to get started in poker, and always saying that they can do whatever they want with poker. They can have a very healthy relationship with poker if they want to play poker recreationally, part time, or if they want to proceed with a career. Because honestly, if I proceeded with a career coming from where I came, with the knowledge I had, I think anybody can do it.
Why do you say that?
I am not a special person. I'm not a special person at all. I'm like just a regular guy, and that's the truth. I I I may have found some kind of quick learning tool when I got started with poker, my nature of curiosity on trying to get better on everything I was doing. But that was it. I didn't have any special talents for a lot of time in my career. I don't seek that, and I don't want that to be respected or known as a good player. I couldn't care less about that. But like, I don't think I have like the major credentials a poker player have to be successful. I'm more like a hardworking guy, try to get around stuff, and that's how I got here. My path was complicated, but I made it. So I think that looking at that perspective, anybody can.
I will say I think being hardworking is more important than having some innate talent. At least willing to change, I think, is a big one, and actually like going out, being open minded, going out and trying new things, sort of thing as well. In
I
addition,
agree.
yeah, like I do think a lot of people probably can win in some kind of context. I don't know about high stakes. I don't think that's the case. Then you need something, but you can at least like win and make a living. I
Yeah,
think.
I
Um,
agree. Most nowadays, let's say like the Brazil is one of the largest online poker markets.
really.
So yeah, so the amount of players we have living their lives, paying their bills, because paying your bills playing poker for me, that's what means you are a professional. That means like you make a living out of playing poker, and I don't care about the rest.
Hmm.
So we have like so many people playing and so many people living their lives from poker that I truly believe that if you study and you're willing to learn, you can make your way. As you said, if you want to climb to the highest stakes, yeah, it's gonna get at each every time more difficult. And I also, when I try to climb the to higher stakes at first in my career, it was like a very terrible experience and difficult job for me. And that's why I was saying all that stuff in the past. But eventually, I found my way. Eventually, I kept going and I kept improving.
So why don't you talk a little bit about your path a little? Yeah, because I understand you wanted to do other things first.
Yes.
You wanted to be a clown in the circus at some point,
True.
and you were in music, and I think you went to school for something else. Yeah, why
Yes.
don't you talk about what happened, and how you like ended up getting in and succeeding finally?
Pleasure. Actually, when I was a kid, my mom, those things as a kid, your mom, your dad asks you what do you want to be when you grow up, and my answer to my mom, I said I want to be a clown. I want to work in the circus.
All right.
So, and and my dad, which is a pretty funny guy, he replied to me and he said, "You already are a clown." And
Very fun.
he's like a amazing guy, and I really was into that. I really loved. I was like taken by by that experience, the magic, behind, even with cards or with tricks, acrobacies, this kind of stuff. And but it was more like something I liked, not actually something I wanted to do. And what happened in my life is that whenever I was 13 years old, in my public school, there was like some charity work from General Motors, which is like a worldwide car company. They would take the top three students uh, from my high school to have an internship in their factory, and their factory in Brazil, it was located in my city.
Hmm. Hmm.
And 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 I was one of the top three. I was actually the third guy on that list, and I made the cut. And I went to work on General Motors by picking up trash of the cars, the rest of the production of the cars, and turning into hangers and selling the hangers. So that's how I got started. That was like my first real job. And in between that, I was learning music. And I was learning music, and I was having like a guitar classes in a music school. And I was learning a Brazilian instrument, which is like a ukulele from Brazil, which is like a small guitar with 4 chords only.
Yeah.
And I happened to learn that, and I got really good at that. And then my guitar teacher invited me to be a teacher at the school, to teach people how to play that particular instrument.
Okay.
And so suddenly I had 2 jobs. And whenever I became 17, I did a test to work in a financial company. I passed the test, and whenever I turned 18, they hired me. And it was to work on Bank of America in Sao Paulo.
So were you working 3 jobs now, or what?
No, and then I quit. That was only for an internship at the General Motors, and I kept going with music. So I had 2 jobs. So I was doing music, and things were doing better. And I started working in the bank. At that time was Bank Boston branch in Brazil. And then I got lucky. I got real lucky because when I entered the company, they had a process which was like a paper payments process. And I was a little bit good with computers and math, this kind of stuff. So I built a system that the bank wouldn't need to print all those pages to make all those payments. And there was basically a program called Access, Microsoft Access, that would read the stuff, and that saved millions in paper print for the company. They hired me, so I didn't go through the internship. I cut the part, and I became an assistant of their managers right away.
Oh, nice. Nice little step up.
Yeah, and that was when I got real lucky. Bank of America came and bought Bank Boston. And after 3 years, I was in the company. And so you know what happens when these big acquisitions happen? They just cut everybody, right? They come from top to bottom, and they don't know who you are, and they say they don't need you anymore. This kind of things. And so I remember there were uh, 11 people, managers, relationship managers, people that would take care of customer accounts, right? And we used to work in the middle corporate business. So, for instance, General Motors was one of our clients in Nestle, other companies, and so they cut 10 managers, and they offered me a job to be a manager and take care of their customers. And I was only 21, so
Oh,
so I became the youngest manager in the history of the company with 21 years old because they cut all the old people and decided to put everything on the back of a kid that was 21 years old and getting almost graduated on college. I was actually going for my last year in college. So so I started develop a lot of skill and get bigger in the company, and that's when I learned how to play poker. One guy in my one manager in my poker in my department, he invited me to play poker at his house, and I could never go because I was going to college after work. And after college, I would play with my band. We happened to play like 6 days a week
hmm
at that time. So I had no time. So when I graduated, I decided to go to his house, play poker one day, and they used to play poker there, like small sitting goal between friends, and it was a $5 sitting goal, right? 10 reais, which is our currency. We play twice, so $20, $10 pretty much. You don't even go to the movies with $20 on a Friday night. So I enjoyed the experience. That's when I learned how to play poker, and then I started to study a little more in the game. And when it was 2017, we already had like us big circuits in Brazil. The main one was the BSOP, the Brazilian Series of Poker, and I won the BSOP Sao Paulo main event in 2007 while working at the bank.
It sounds like you already had like a proper career with the bank before poker, so you had a little bit of money.
Correct. So I was able to help at my house, help my family out. I was in a good spot. I had my own car. I could pay for my stuff. I had a financial freedom at that time. And working in the bank sometimes is consuming, but by beating all those goals and those numbers, you get like a bunch of bonuses and salaries at the end of the year. And I was like getting awarded with that, so I was doing nicely. And but I even after winning in 2007, I never thought I was gonna be a poker pro. That never crossed my mind. Actually, in 2007, I also won a satellite for the World Series, but I didn't have a passport. I didn't even had a passport. I didn't have a visa or anything, and of course, I didn't have time any leave from the work. So, it never crossed my mind to play poker professionally. That was only by the end of the year, that year that I was playing in the final table in one of these 100K guaranteed, which was like the biggest event at that time was like 100K, right? So when 100K guarantee happened, it was like the talk of the town. And I was going to this final table, and one guy came to me and said, "Do you want to be a sponsored pro?" I said, "No, thank you, because I work at the bank and I play poker because I like it." And he was like, "No, no, no, you don't understand. We want you to be a professional poker player. We want you to have like a social media, a blog, travel to play poker." And then that took me a while to realize that, and it was a very difficult decision for me after a lot of consideration to take this contract and give up on the bank.
Oh, so you did have to give up. Okay. I was
I
thinking
did, I did, yeah. It took me a while, but I gave up. Yeah, I had a talk with my family, and my dad was like, "Well, you know what to do if that's really what you want to do." I explained to my dad. I was like, "Dad, if I don't work for like 24 months, I can take care of ourselves. Have some money saved. It's not gonna be an issue," because his main worry was what's gonna happen with this poker thing, right? Nobody understands what this poker thing is, and I was the guy providing for my family. So what if I lose my money? What if stuff doesn't work? So I quit taking care of my family and my stuff. So his worry was genuine.
hmm
But that's when it comes up to a story that I think you're gonna like it very much.
hmm
Since when do you play online poker?
Since me,
Yeah.
I played since 2007, I think, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So I have a story that is unexpected for you.
All right. I like the unexpected. I like most of the time. I mean, it's good or good
You
stories.
like it.
All
You
right.
like it. It was like I don't remember exactly when, but it was back then when I was about to be a pro or still working in the bank. Don't remember exactly when it was, but I was playing poker more seriously, and and my dad came up to me and said, "If you're gonna play poker on Sundays, this is a big problem because Sundays is our family gathering, and we are religious. We are like family people. I cannot miss Sundays with my family. We used to gather at my grandma's house after my grandpa passed, and so my family would come from everywhere and meet every Sunday. That's some good culture. I think we have. We're very united. So, and then I said, Dad, there's no way that I'm playing poker part time, and the biggest events, the biggest tournaments, they happen on Sunday. So what can we do? And he was like, okay, so let's see. You come to your grandma's house every Saturday. You don't go out. You come to your grandma's house every Saturday. So I used to come to my grandma's house. I used to play cards with her, and etc. So I could be. I used to live at my parents' house still. So I could go to my room and play poker on Sundays.
Okay.
So it was one of these Sundays, the first Sunday that after all this talk, and I was alone at home, and my parents were at my grandma's house with the whole family, and I don't know what happened. And my dad was like really really upset about something that happened. So he entered home. I had my door closed. He pretty much like opened my door, very like energetic. My dad is a kind person, but he was like worried about something. I don't know. So he opened the door, slamming a little bit the door, and asked me this question: it was worth it to be away from your family today, to stay inside of your room, beautiful day, sunny outside, to stay behind a computer playing poker? And I said, Dad, I don't know if most of the time that will be worth it, but today it's a good day. So there are only two players in this tournament left, and it was the 100 rebuys on PokerStars. And I was heads up in the tournament, and my dad was like, "Oh, you doing well?" I said, "Yeah, Dad. A lot of players in this tournament, one of the Sunday majors, as they say, and there's only me and this guy in this tournament." And he says, like, if you lose now, how much do you make? And I was like, Dad, if I bust now, I'll make $50,000. And he was like, bust, bust, bust. He was like desperate because he thought I could lose all that money. He was cheering for me to bust because he didn't know how the game works. And then I said, no, Dad, this money is locked. This money is guaranteed. So if I win the tournament, I will make 70,000. I think it was like 76 and 49, something like that.
Weird.
The payout. So he sat next to me, and he watched me play and making me good questions, interested about what was going on.
Oh, nice.
And that was, yeah, and that was like a good connecting moment. And I believe that I recall the heads up was against you.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
forget. I don't remember this. Did you win? I forget.
No, you won. You won. We got it in King Jack versus Ace 10, and you had the best, and you won.
Which year was this?
I think this was early 2008 or late 2007.
It might be. I think it's 2009 is my guess.
Maybe 2009 when I got back. Yeah, 2009. That was 2009 exactly. 2009. I remember I was playing versus you, and you have always beaten me. Like I remember that we played like something. We got heads up again in the Sunday 500, later, and then you beat me too, and I got second place again. And there was like a nice story behind it.
Yeah, I had a big downswing in 2009, and I won like a tournament, which got me back up. As a matter of fact, so you might have been back up on my upswing after I lost like half my bankroll. I lost 6/10 of my bankroll in like 2 days or something. I was on raging
Whoa,
tilt for a little bit. Um, yeah, I was like getting messing
massive.
my head some, but it's cute that you're on the other end. That's funny.
No, yeah.
It's funny how things
I I
work
I
out.
remember that result was like so much money because like earning in dollars, right? Especially for us, it's already a big thing. So of course it's more difficult for us to play because of the currency value. So it costs a lot to play, but whenever you win, you're doing great. So and that was like how pretty much things turn around with poker with my family.
Yeah, there's some magic in the tournaments. At least I think there is.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure. It's hard to know. Um, yeah, that's one thing that's good about also playing or raising money in these countries is there is some might be able to help people get some sponsorships and that kind of thing at least for a little while, which will, I mean, there should be quite some opportunity and more of a middle class where there's more of a middle class in places where there's poverty is really a good thing. I also
yeah,
want to say, I mean, it sounds like you're a really hard worker. Like constantly having two jobs and you're keeping up with family life and all of that. I mean, two jobs is no joke. That's like 80 plus hours a week.
yeah,
It
yeah.
sounds like a bit of a
I
thing.
mean, I like very much what I do, and I was always like a person that whenever I go for something, I try to dig deep, you know. And I hate to lose. I'm not a I'm a good loser. Nowadays, I'm a good loser because my understanding has got so much better in many levels. But I am a very competitive person. So since my I can recall when I used to play soccer when I was a little kid, I used to hate to play, and I know that my dad always had like a ways of teaching me things by making me nervous, by trying to test me, by giving me these kind of riddles and stuff for me to solve. And yeah, I remember one day I was like in my grandma's house, and it was like middle of the year. We have a very famous party of Saint John. So the party of Saint John it's basically a gathering where you make like a traditional food, traditional drinks,
Hmm.
and you celebrate Saint John with fireworks.
Hmm.
So and whenever I was used to ask my dad money for fireworks, my dad was he was like, I'm not gonna give you money to burn, so get over, right? He was always like very direct. Like, I don't have money to spend, and I'm gonna give you money to buy fireworks. But that the other kids are playing with fireworks in the streets. I don't care. The other kids are the other kids, and you are yourself. But he would always feel bad by saying that to me. I could see in his face. And there was one day after lunch, he saw me sad that I didn't have fireworks to play with, and he was like, "Okay, I'll give you a challenge. If you complete this task, I'll give you $5. You'll go buy some fireworks." I'll say like whatever you want. just give me the just give me the task. I'll do it. And he was like, "You need to sit down here in the kitchen. There's my grandma and my mom they were like doing the dishes, and there was this pan full of beans where we used to cook the beans. Very famous in Brazil, the black beans. You used to cook the beans, and then he was like, if you sit here and you hold this pan, you hold the arm of this pan for 2 hours without going anywhere, I'll give you $5. I said, okay, no problem. So I sat down and I held the pen. And after like half an hour, he came to me and he started like tickling me or saying
Oh,
I
no.
wasn't gonna make it. Yeah, he was like, "You're not gonna make it. You're going to give up." So you're not gonna go play. I said, "No, I'm not giving up." I said, "No, you're gonna give up. You're gonna give up." So he tried to make like a challenge, and I stood there for 2 hours and I got my fireworks.
That's so funny.
Yeah, that's that probably taught me a lot about the resilience you need to sit down at a poker table and endure.
Well, you definitely earned your fireworks. I don't think as a little kid I've done anything like that. I can say I like stood outside in the cold and was paid for that, but a lot more money than $5. I mean,
Okay, but
like,
that's a big challenge.
yeah, I guess, yeah. And hold a hot pan for 2 hours would be annoying as shit. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
he was playing mind games with me. He wanted me to give up, so he wanted to teach me a lesson. Probably the worth of money. Probably
the value of resilience, something like that.
correct.
Do you?
Something between those lines. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you think people in Brazil can make it in poker without like having like a decent amount of money? Do you think that's possible?
I think that's very possible. I think that's what's going on nowadays. Because whenever I started, there was a lot of promotion, a lot of like big competition with the poker sites, making like free rolls, giveaways, and sponsoring people. So for sure, you recall at that time, if you were like to succeed in like a WSOP event, you get like Snap sponsored by right some poker site. So I call that period of time post money maker, let's say the poker dream, right?
Oh, yeah,
Where
yeah.
there was like a lot of opportunity for everyone. And post Black Friday, I think we lost that. We lost that. So it was like tough times, very difficult for you to maintain yourself as a regular poker player. Not many opportunity for people, and then came GG Poker. I'm not saying that because I work for GG and I'm a GG ambassador or whatever, but like GG is just like just bring the poker dream back, because when you play on GG, if you verify your account, you can get like a ticket for free to play every 24 hours, you know.
Hmm.
So today on my stream, I was doing a live stream today on Twitch um, before this interview with you, and there was one guy that came to me and he was like, "Oh, I verified my account. I get this ticket for free every 24 hours, and I already have $100 bankroll." So
I mean, that is
I
quite a
see,
lot for someone your age.
yeah, it's huge.
All right.
So somebody that started from zero, right? Somebody that started from nothing. I'm not that guy. I separated $500 when I started playing poker, and I say this is the $500 I'm gonna spend by going out, by going to the movies, whatever. I'm not gonna do that. So if I lose this money, I'm not gonna go see Spider-Man. Spider-Man's not gonna pay me anything. So I'm just gonna like invest this money. I already had this mentality of I'm gonna invest this money, see what's gonna happen. So I used to play the $20 Sunday tournament. That it was like you could get all you can eat pizza for $20 and play in a poker tournament. So I was going there every Sunday, so that I could eat for $20 and play a poker tournament. So nowadays I feel that the situation we have now is that a lot of people have a lot of knowledge, and if they want to dig for information, they can find so many poker courses for free or for a small amount of money in Portuguese language. So within the opportunities and with the education part as well, I think that if you really want, you can become a poker player. That's a no-brainer.
Well, that's actually great news. I mean, yeah, I mean, I hope that's true because it really is just can't emphasize it enough. It just seems like a solid outlet if someone has enough work ethic to get out of. I mean, I want to see poker grow too, to
Yeah,
get out of poverty, to have like a decent wage in many of these places. Um,
yeah,
yeah, it reminds me of my college days when I had lost a lot of money, and then I had like $300 from like $5 hit and goes and $10 hit and goes, and I was so happy. And used that to grind up out of nowhere. And I was working at McDonald's for a month, and like that was in the USA. So like I can only
yeah.
imagine that $100 in Brazil, it'd go like kind of a far way if they have like the
A
right.
lot. Yeah, a lot. And then this part, as I said, about the communities, the education, etc., the stables. Nowadays, if you want to play poker professionally and you have, this is a fact, you have zero experience and you want to play poker for a living,
Mm-hmm.
a stable is going to hire you.
Oh, how about that?
This is to, this is 2023. You just need to have time. If you say like I have time, I can grind 6 to 8 to 10 hours a day. They will train you. They will give you a staking deal, and then you don't need money to play.
That's
And
pretty.
yeah, so that's amazing.
Uh, well, it's not the only place that you've actually succeeded, and hope people find more success at that, or more people find success along the same route. Why don't you tell us how you transitioned from poker into becoming a streamer, and then being a seminar speaker and all this other stuff? Because it seems like you succeeded along many different avenues, I would say.
I mean, my background coming from the bank was always like study a lot, get prepared a lot for public speaking, for dealing with customers, for managing risk. So my position in the bank, I could approve a bank loan, for instance, and I didn't need anybody up to an amount. So so I needed to do risk management while doing the negotiation with the customer as well, and by having a very good relationship with people. And when I started playing poker, I realized that those were skills that I also needed in poker, and they would overlap.
Hmm.
So first time when I tried to write something about poker strategy to give some poker coaching or create something like a poker training, I was like, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna put my thoughts into like actual like uh, content? And so my background comes from business administration, and then I studied marketing, business administration, and finance. So all that I knew was based on that. So I say, okay, what is working here for these people? Who are the main speakers? Who are the main authors? Then I remember that I found the 4 P's of marketing, which was like one a big piece where like that we learn a lot in school. So I said to myself, I say I'm gonna create the 4 P's of poker. What are the 4 things you need to have in order to be a successful poker player? So I started to write about it, and that got massive. That got like popular, and then suddenly I got more students. Suddenly I started to be invited to give coaching and to host seminars in companies talking about that analogy of playing poker and using the skills you need to succeed as a poker player in business, in your personal life, and in your relationships as well. And things escalated from there up to I got to coach celebrity footballers because I got known on social media, because I was even hired by like football teams to 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 help with my content, with training, going to companies. Even my old boss in the bank, he hired me to go back to the bank and to speak about my journey to the employees.
Huh.
That's like crazy. That's like I could never imagine that. And then I started streaming very like sporadically, because streaming is very time consuming, and you don't build an audience. You don't get to build an audience if you're not consistent. So I started streaming a long time ago, but I gathered a nice audience in the beginning, but I didn't keep that audience because I wasn't really consistent at that. And when I got some consistency and I decided to stay more online and give advice for free, host free roles, and have fun with people, I discovered that I loved and I liked poker way more than I thought I loved, because so many people you can help along the way with like some friendship, some some nice words or some poker advice or an opportunity for them to play, that it's really a blessing. So my community nowadays is it's like my family. It's like something very dear to me, that I just want to keep going and help them more and try to transform and help by lead somehow by the stuff I do, by the examples I could give, by not by the stuff I talk. So and we're growing from there. We became number one streamer in the region. My streams consistently in Portuguese language, but of course we speak Spanish and English as well, but mainly in Portuguese. So we often at the top streams, not even speaking English. So it's a big accomplishment for us, and I love it. I love this challenge of reinventing yourself. I think that my game also have gotten so much better by exposing myself, by having to explain the bullshit I do with Ace Three off, and get away with that. So it's been like a nice journey, and I think that I found myself, and that's what I want to do. I don't want to look at other things.
Oh, it sounds like it opened up so many avenues for you to write about it, and yeah, it sounds like it's really popping off for you. I actually want to do something similar, although I didn't realize it could land that hard. Are there many business people that are interested also in the way poker can apply for them?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
I mean, I'll tell you that in the past I've coached like presidents, VPs,
Really?
managing directors of like big companies. They let's say that poker nowadays is their favorite hobby, and they're smart people, and they know that they need experience to succeed in poker. Most of the time they are involved in private games. So most of the time they want to travel. So let's say they want to go to Bahamas, Vegas, Barcelona to play some poker, and of course they don't want to be losing, right? They want to learn up to a level that they can keep this lifestyle. Like when you go golf with your buddies and you can talk business, and now you can sit at a poker table and you can talk business with people that have the same common interests. So I feel that poker has grown to be the number one activity to bring people together.
Hmm.
And that's when the opportunities showed up for me by being on these games and people inviting me to teach them a little bit more of what I was doing. So I can only imagine what could be the route for a person like you. You can definitely go on that route and find a lot of success by being a speaker, by talking about your experience itself, it's a lot too much. Is already too much to try to help people to have some shortcuts in their life by doing the right things, by all the things you've done correctly and done incorrectly as well.
Oh, thanks. You're sounding like a what is a motivational speaker. I can see.
No, but that's the truth. You have that in you. You have that approach. You like to talk about those things. I can feel that, you know. And if you go that route, that's not. I mean, you know how poker players are. This is not like a problem, right? But most of us, we are a little bit introverted. We like poker too much. We don't grow interest outside of poker, right?
I don't know if that describes you that much. You don't seem that introverted, or I mean, you're also doing music and like you got the seminars and you got all kinds of things.
Yeah, but I like to say that all my eggs are in the same basket. It's everything poker related. Everything I do is poker related. Even I started a company in Brazil with a friend of mine, with a Danish guy which lives in Brazil, which is called Vegan Business. It's basically a company, equity crowdfunding company, where you can be an angel investor of helping like a very sustainable company to grow in the market, right? And all that started with poker. Even that business, it was poker related. I could only get that opportunity because of poker. So I'm not actually doing much. I actually have my eggs in the same basket. I love poker, and I don't want to do anything else, as I said before.
All right. Well, I mean, it's working out really well for you. You're showing like all the outlets that really can bring that it's actually a viable career. It's like, I mean, you're showing how you're the real world example of how it's a viable career and not just like places like the U.S. And you've done a really great job. Like, very inspirational story, working with celebrities, and who knows?
Thank
Maybe
you.
it's the thing of maybe it is even the thing of the future. Um, I've heard also you
Yeah,
talk with you're a close friend of this guy Neymar. I think he's like a huge soccer player, a superstar. Do you talk much
yeah,
with him? Poker?
yeah. I'm not very close to him anymore as I used to be, but like back in 2014, back in 2015, I was the guy that introduced poker to him, gave him some poker lessons,
Mhm.
and developed some friendship, and used to go play poker together, and poker coaching and etc. So it's basically what I told you before. People from other activities, they happen to like poker a lot. Let's say you're a footballer, your favorite like hobby is to play poker. You're like a musician nowadays, your favorite hobby is to play poker as well, right? So there was this one time whenever I was like playing. I met Ronaldo, the legendary football player from Brazil,
Oh, okay.
and and Ronaldo started following me on social media. I was like, holy shit, Ronaldo is following me on social media. And then suddenly Ronaldo was like, hey, do you want to go dinner? I'm inviting you to go dinner and etc. I was like, what's going on? Because I was getting known for the stuff I was doing in poker, right? But I could never imagine like play like a soccer game with Ronaldo or even meet Ronaldo. It was like I remember that I was like going back home and bringing like a bunch of signed shirts of Neymar to my cousins and my dad whenever it was his birthday. Was like everybody was like, whoa, this is amazing because it's our number one sport. And I would like to use your platform and the voice you're giving me to say thank you to all these people because sometimes they are judged by society by playing poker. Because let's say a guy like Neymar, for instance, he has like a big game to play, and he's playing some poker. If he loses the game, let's say for Brazil or for his team, stupid people will blame him. Yeah, because this guy was playing poker, because this guy is addict, because this guy is whatever. So for people to use their images and help our game to grow, they are put sometimes in very tough situations, and I would like to thank all of them for doing that, because especially in Brazil, poker has got a lot of popular because of these guys. Some of them we're very close friends until nowadays. Some of them we're not, but like we pretty much respect and like each other very much, and I think that has done a lot for our sport. I'm a small guy in poker, very small guy in poker. Maybe I'm a little bit known in the community, but when you talk about like the outside community of poker, nobody knows who I am. Nobody knows who I am, but everybody knows who Ronaldo is.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
if he's playing poker, poker is cool.
Yeah, it's got a bit of that going on in LA and Los Angeles too. Leonardo DiCaprio and who else is playing? There's a few other actors playing. They're quite big time. Um,
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I heard about Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, right? Something
yeah,
like
yeah.
this.
I don't know if they play anymore, but I know Leonardo plays.
Yeah,
And these
that's
guys,
pretty nice. It's a very inspirational guy.
really interesting people, or really famous people, I should say. I mean, Leonardo is supposedly quite smart, also, but I don't know him. I just know.
Absolutely, the guy is like has given like millions, donated millions of his own money to help other people. He's like one of the role models I have. Absolutely.
Yeah. In many ways, me too, I guess, or some ways. I don't know a whole lot about him. But he's just heard that he's quite smart, which is interesting. He does actually take a stand for climate change, which is very important.
Exactly. Yeah, me myself, like I try to uh, help and work with that a little bit whenever I learn about the world issues.
Hmm.
And that was when I became vegan. That was when I became like more aware of my actions, and that's why I invested in the vegan business company to try to help that too. And I think that's the future, right? We need more sustainable future to
I
in
agree.
order to survive.
I agree. I agree completely, and that's probably why I made the That is a big reason why I made the podcast. I should say there's other reasons too, but to help assist the creation of a more sustainable future in many different ways to get more.
I know you started your own charity now, right?
Yeah, I've decided that the biggest way to
That's
make
awesome.
yeah, I've decided the biggest way to make an impact is through children's education, but also through children's not just education in the conventional sense, but through sports and games. Actually, I think poker could be, if monitored correctly, could be a good way for really a lot of. Well, if it has to be monitored correctly, then that I don't totally
But
understand.
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You can teach to a kid a lot of things by playing a poker game, and it's a game, has no monetary value, and it's like a game of chess. Learn about strategy, how to deal with people, like a very good activity. I mean, I'm from Brazil. Sports save lives. They save lives every day. People that are going to crime and they're going to train football. People that are going to a bad, they have bad influences in their neighborhoods, but they decided to go play volleyball because there's like a volleyball charity work, and volleyball is pretty big in Brazil. We're being historically one of the best countries in the world, and which is a shame when people only think about Brazil when they think about soccer, when they think about like a carnival and women, whatever. And we have so much of great things. And I think the sport is very disciplinary. So for education, sports probably the best thing you can apply for a kid.
Hmm. If done right, it maybe there may be some
Oh,
kind of way.
of course, yeah, if done right,
Yeah,
like everything else. Like this by these days we're having like a big discussion about sexual education for kids. You know,
that's a tricky one.
and
But yeah,
That's a tricky one, but like that's very necessary. But of course, such as poker, if done right,
yeah,
because like you don't want like all this young woman getting pregnant, you don't want all
sure,
these
yeah,
young people getting like a disease. So you need to talk about the subject whenever people are young, not like become a taboo,
100%. Yeah, I mean,
right?
this is well, these are all the reasons why I made the charity, and also it has a lot of capacity to grow. Working on all that and making it strategic in a certain way. I actually have a very limited number of time. Do you want to talk about your plans before we go? What do you plans for in charity or
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
poker? What are you gonna do?
Sure. Actually, my biggest challenge nowadays professionally is that working with GGPoker in Brazil,
Hmm.
we're starting to host live events. So we are together sponsoring a big, like one of the most known live circuits in the world. It's called the KSOP GG Poker now.
Hmm.
And so we're hosting for 2023 five big tournament series, and they happen to be happening in the most beautiful cities in the world, like Rio de Janeiro,
Ooh,
like
yeah.
Balneario Camboriú, and our goal is to grow poker. Our goal is to grow poker and is to bring opportunity for everyone. So we mix a lot poker with other activities, and now we're running the satellites on GG Poker as well. So we have our first event. We, what happened is like we had to cancel the satellites then because we didn't have enough rooms anymore.
Really?
Yeah, so it would be really nice to have you when you want to come, and I'll be your host. I'll help you out with anything you want.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for
Yeah,
the offer.
yeah, and then maybe soon enough you can come as well and play some WSOP event in Brazil too,
Hmm.
and also go for some career achievements while having some fun and knowing Brazil. I'm pretty sure you're gonna love Rio and gonna love South Brazil, which are very great places, very nice places to visit. And so I'm that's the reason actually I'm not traveling 100% anymore to all these big poker stops. So for now, the PCA is going on. I'm not doing that because I'm not playing this EPT or whatever because I'm committed to growing poker in Brazil.
Hmm.
So that, of course, I'll be playing some big events like Triton, like WSOP Vegas, and other events from time to time, but not as much as I used to. Like in 2017, I won the award of player that cashed in the most countries. I'm not doing that shit anymore. You know.
That's
Plus, I'm a married man and I have a kid, so it's too much. And so that's my professional goals, and as personal goals, and with the charity thing, I want to help companies to become sustainable. I wanna that new companies come up in the market or the old companies become more aware of the destruction and everything bad they're doing. So that's why we started this company in Brazil called Vegan Business, and that's something that's going really, really, really well now for the third year. So I'll probably spending my time with these two things, and my family, of course, and playing poker on Twitch.
okay. So there's some amazing plans. Definitely kudos for raising vegan awareness. And yeah, I catch you at a Triton, and I'll come down to Brazil at some time as well. It would be great to see you.
It
And
will be really nice. You will be really nice. You're already my guest,
mhm,
and yeah, I'm looking forward to meet you in person and catch up more. You're a very interesting guy,
you too.
and I like what you're doing. So congratulations for not only for the podcast, because for me it's 5 a.m. right now, and I had like a rough day, And then I was like, whoa, but I want to be on with Daniel Cates in the podcast. So I was very excited. Thank you for having me.
It's been great having you.